just studying for 90 minutes is not enough. And also, there's this embarrassment. If I say the wrong thing, they'll correct me. If I say the wrong thing, they'll think I'm stupid. And I've actually given up my French journey. So, if I could overcome that long 1 minute or 4 minute clip, then I can definitely at least pick up the important parts. If you freeze up in your class, there's a much higher chance that you'll freeze up in the examination. This was the third TEF that I took. This was by far the toughest. I mean, J&C was one of the biggest contributors. I think our speaking sessions were priceless. We spent 90 minutes together in a group or whatever, but that whole go back, send me your voice clips, go back, meet after class for half an hour, continue your practice. So, the way that you all shared feedback was always encouraging.
Bonjour, Vinny, ça va?
Comment ça va?
Ça va bien. Alors, yes. So first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. First of all, félicitations on your amazing test results. Scoring C2 in reading, C1 in speaking, and B2 in listening and writing. And yes, it's truly outstanding.
My name is Vinny, as you know. I'm from India and I currently live in Canada. I've been here for about 3.5 to 4 years. So yeah, I started my journey with the J&C in March and we finished, I think, sometime in June or July. And yes, I was confident that I was at level B2 at the end of the journey, which was fantastic. However, due to a lot of personal issues, like I said, I was also doing the IELTS. Work was crazy. My mother was visiting. There was a lot happening with me for the holiday season. I had to teaching the tests. I remember even you reaching out to me a couple of times asking, have you taken the test? And I was like, I can't find dates. I'm going to sign up. So that gap did actually have an impact on, I did lose a little progress that we made together. That is it about me, about my reasons for, learning and the entire French journey.
So how you after achieving such a great result, first of all? Yes.
On top of the world, I'm not gonna lie, I felt this was the third TEF that I took. Obviously I stopped learning in between. I kind of, with the whole IELTS happening and with Christmas and New Year, I kind of abandoned my learning journey. So the first two didn't go very well, but this was by far the toughest. I came out expecting, I feel every test is getting a little tougher and I didn't really have much confidence, but I knew my reading had gone really well, my speaking, what we had practiced the most. The writing was more my own and, of course, listening, I had to practice on my own.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So today we are having this, conversation for two reasons, obviously. The first, we want to celebrate your success and hear about your TEF journey. And yes, second, your experience will be incredibly, valuable for the other students who are actually currently preparing for the TEF exam. And yes, your insights will help them to understand what to expect and yes, how to improve. So yes, as each section has its own challenges. So let's go over them one by one, right? So like listening.
So I think that whole repetition, where even if I was listening to a clip that I had heard 7 times before, the fact that I could understand it this time without a transcript made me feel better. Hey, it's getting better. So, if I could overcome that long 1 minute or 4 minute clip, then I can definitely at least pick up the important parts from a shorter clip that's like 2 minutes or 1 minute or whatever. So I think that repetition really, really helped. It's like
yes, it's not about that how many clips, how many audios you have listened. It's about that how many times you have done it, right?
The clips that you post on Instagram, that actually made me realize when somebody is saying the same thing, it's easy to understand. When you go to the TEF center, you will understand all of them, including the natives there from Algeria, Tunisia, wherever. You will understand all of them speaking French. But when that same thing is in a clip, in a video clip, in an audio clip, it's very difficult to understand that. So it's not just about listening or talking to natives or speaking to teachers. It is about going and practicing those audio clips.
Yes, definitely. And now coming to this, reading. So for reading, you achieved C2, right? Which is amazing again. So many students, struggle with the time management in this section. So did you face any challenges and how did you tackle them?
So one thing I figured out, the biggest challenge that I used to face in reading was I would first read the text, then read question 1. The first 2 times that I took the reading test, I couldn't clear the last 3 or 4 questions. I couldn't clear those. As in, I didn't even attempt those. So
Okay.
this time, what I did, the easier ones I finished like in half an hour, and I kept half an hour for the last 15 questions.
Okay.
I realized that your question 1 will always be found in the first paragraph. Your question 2 will always be found in the second paragraph. Get an idea of what this is about. Read question 1, focus on paragraph 1, or focus on the first half of the text. Read question 2, focus on the second half of the text. And that's how I managed my time.
Yes, this is, like amazing. Again, like I said, C2 in reading, because this is, people find difficulty, right? To like, they know that this is the answer, but, like solving each and every question, that becomes difficult in that, particular, time frame. So,
Yeah.
okay. So now the third section, and where mostly people have, doubts. So yes, speaking is a major concern for TEF candidates, right? And yes, some struggle with fluency while others find it hard, to structure their responses properly, right? So what was your biggest challenges in this section? And
So,
yeah.
so the thing is, your answer doesn't have to be perfect. I don't know if you want me to go section by section, but for me, section 2 was more difficult. Section 1, I
The
could
convincing.
manage. Correct. Section 2, I would actually go blank when somebody would say things like, oh, great idea, but I don't have time. Or you're right, I used to love it, but I don't love it anymore. So, when somebody would say stuff like this, I'd go like, now what do I tell them? How do I convince them that, you don't have time, make time for this? They're not looking for the perfect answer. They're checking to see if you understood what they're saying. And
Yes.
you can at least acknowledge it. I understand you don't have time.
Yes.
However, cependant, il faut que tu le fasses. This is where you use your subjunctive.
Yes.
The reason doesn't matter. You have to do this because, and then you give a rebuttal. Or even if I don't have time, don't worry. You don't need too much time for this. That's what really matters.
So here, what we can understand, like this one quote: a good listener can be a good speaker. First, you need to understand what other person is saying, right? Because you have the reply, but if you didn't understand like what the person said, so yes, like,
Exactly.
if you're trying to say, just like try to respond, but the good, like a perfect answer, that won't get
There
you
is no
right.
perfect answer. There is no perfect answer.
Perfect. Okay. So you scored, and the writing, obviously, last but not the least, you scored B2 in writing. So yes, many students struggle with structuring their responses and avoiding, this grammatical mistakes. So yes, what helped you, this achieving such a high score?
So again, the good thing is I had a structure. Everything is about fitting things into that structure. So I actually just put to the board, prenons le cadre, ensuite, c'est bien illustré par l'exemple. I just write those. Then I start filling in my details. I'm not the fastest at writing. Even in English, I struggle with writing. I'm being very honest. Yeah, timing is always an issue for me. Always.
Yeah, so this is why, this is the reason actually, we always insist, we always tell students, to write the conjugation in the sessions itself, right? And because, that happens when you are writing, exactly, yes, that is how we have to write. But yes, when you use the wrong conjugation, so again, like there,
Yeah.
all marks on. So thank you for sharing that. So,
Most
like
welcome. And
experiences with all these things. So now let's talk about how JNC helped you prepare for these challenges, right? So
of course, I mean, J&C was one of the biggest contributors to, I'd say the biggest contributor to my journey, because when I joined you guys, I had only been using like Duolingo and everything. So I think I came to you with a
yes,
near
I
clean
remember.
slate. Yes, I knew a few words, but I didn't know tenses. I didn't even know there was a tense called subjunctive. Because I'm an English teacher, I knew there was something called conditional, but I didn't know how conditional and pluscuparfait and all of that worked in French. I had no idea. I think our speaking sessions.
What is past participle for the regular verbs? In ER, we remove ER and then
put E with an accent to
E
the
with
right.
accent.
IU. Correct.
Makes a liaison, it makes the sound of Z here, right? And it's not nay, it's no, no,
No.
no.
They were priceless. Like I can't even put a price to that. Like it was just unbelievable. And all the feedback. So we spend 90 minutes together in a group or whatever, but that whole go back, send me your voice clips, go back, meet after class for half an hour, continue your practice, write these, send these, that extra support that I got was, extremely helpful. And feedback that I used to get from you was very motivating. Like I have had other teachers, and I've actually given up my French journey because sometimes it can be very demotivating, or when somebody says, you don't even know this much, it can be very harsh. So, the way that you all shared feedback was always encouraging, and I want to thank both
Happy
my
to.
for that.
So now let's move on to some advices for future TEF aspirants, right? So now that you've successfully, passed the examination, so I'm sure that you have, some great advices for students who are currently preparing for the examination. So what would be your top 3 tips for them? What do you think?
Chetan, you used to tell us just studying for 90 minutes is not enough. Attending a class for 90 minutes is not enough.
Correct.
I would reiterate that. Try and put in at least 3 to 4 hours of learning every day. And don't just let clips play in the background. When I say 3 to 4 hours, pay attention. The second thing I would say is don't focus just on bookish learning. What you're learning, put into practice for God's sake. It could be in the form of speaking practice, where you're actually practicing a TEF
Mock test.
So learning is 50% or less than 50%, but practicing it is what will get you there. What we learn, we will forget. What you practice, you won't. Muscle memory comes into play after some time.
Yeah, definitely. Like whosoever they starts their journey of learning French, like they have this, they always keep complaining, you can say, like, I don't have time, right? So it's just, like I'm attending the classes, that's enough for me. What do you think? What do you, what do you want to say to these people, like, who are just saying, I don't have
If you do that, you will make the same mistake I did, and it will take you much longer to clear your TEF than necessary. And also, there's this embarrassment. If I say the wrong thing, they'll correct me. If I say the wrong thing, they'll think I'm stupid.
big
So
mistake.
I completely, and this was my third piece of advice, make that mistake. Make it. It's okay. It's better your teachers correct you. It's better your batchmates correct you than you freezing up in your exam. Make that mistake. Don't be embarrassed. Everybody started from scratch at some point or the other, and it's okay if you also start.
Because like here, nobody's judging you. All people at the same level, right? It just obviously will come to know, yes, Vinny is making mistake here, so I need to correct that thing. And after that, you won't be making the same mistake. But if you're doing that mistake in the examination,
if you freeze up in your class, there's a much higher chance that you'll freeze up in the examination. It's not like it's not like, oh, that'll be easier. That's not happening. When you're sitting in front of an examiner, it's a lot more difficult because there's more pressure on you.
yes. So finally, so if someone is unsure about choosing J&C, so what would
I'd say, especially for a beginner like I was when I joined you guys, I think J&C is extremely, extremely important. I think, the fact that my foundation was a little on the stronger side, that helped me even, learn more from your videos and, get the ability to practice on my own, use different apps, send you my clips, incorporate your feedback. So the fact that you have a strong foundation, I think that is very important. So I would strongly, strongly recommend J&C to anybody who's interested in learning French, especially beginners, because your roots will become very strong. Your French foundation, that increases your confidence. And if you follow the instructions that you get, there's no way you won't clear the TEF.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vinny. Thanks a lot. So your journey has been, like truly inspiring, obviously. And I'm sure your insights will, help many future TEF candidates, like our students. And yes, congratulations, félicitations once again on your success. And we are so proud. I mean it. We are so proud to have been part of your, this journey. Okay. Thank you so much for taking.
Merci, au revoir.
Au revoir.
Et
Au revoir.
à bientôt.
À bientôt. Merci, merci. Always there. If you need any help, please do let us know.
Je vous remercie.
Okay, Vinny. Thank you. Au revoir. Merci.
Au revoir.